Huh? I mean, I don't really need it. No, I insist. Take it with my blessing. Sure. I'll be on my way then. Out in the hallway, I passed by the man I noticed earlier, the one I didn't recognize. Ah, the sales demo's over. I wonder why he's still here. I gave him a faint nod, and he nods back before slipping into the demo room. I should keep my fingers crossed for the guy. At last, I'm back outside the building. I feel bad about not returning the catsuit to the man from the rental place. Still, I can't just walk around town wearing this thing. I'll stick out like a sore thumb. I figure it's best just to leave it behind. Then it dawns on me. Hold on, I still can't get this thing off! No, I'm getting rid of this bitch! This time I skinned this cat. I need to get rid of this costume, whatever it takes. I take a hold of my head in both hands and yank upward as hard as I can. Oh-ho! Please tell me I'm not imagining things. Oh-ho? Please tell me I'm not imagining things. The head feels a lot looser than it did before. If I give it a good enough push, then maybe... yeah! Yes! It comes off. I did it! I slipped out of the rest of the cat costume and gleefully abandoned it as I head for the knick-knack shop. Don't you hit me with a continued. No! No, I wanted to see what she looks like! Let's do a little bit of Mino, and I'll go ahead and end the episode. At long last, I arrived at the No-Cane building where the event was being held. The wall by the elevator was plastered with posters about the burning hammer. Get it or regret it. As seen in magazines. 100% late wash guaranteed. This is blatantly false advertising. The messaging was kind of a mess. Felt like he'd been kind of thrown together at the last minute. Mino avoided the elevator in favor of the stairs, rushing up to the event site on the 3rd floor. Emerging from the stairwell, he saw 2 more posters on the wall pointing the way to the sales demo. He followed the arrows to a room deeper within the building. Opening the door, he saw about 50 chairs, most of them occupied by female attendees. There was a stage set up at the far end of the room, but nobody was on it. It appeared that the event had yet to begun. Mino quickly recovered the crowd. Roughly half of the women were somewhat elderly. All of them looked like they could stand to lose some weight. But for some of them, at least, that ship had sailed some time ago. The crowd gazed at the stage with rapid anticipation. A beverage that allowed you to eat plenty and still lose weight was definitely an appetizing proposition. Could something really like that really exist, though? Oh well. Mino was just gonna have to wait and see. He did his best to get his mind into journalism mode. Time passed, but the demo didn't start. The audience began grumbling in frustration. Then a heavy-set young woman took the stage and gave a little bow. It was the girl from the cafe, the one with the amazing appetite. Oh, well, very nice. The audience broke out in applause, their patience finally rewarded. But as everyone leaned forward unexpectedly, the girl on the stage began performing magic tricks. She twirled a silk hat and pulled out a bunch of flowers from inside it. Sparse applause rose up from the crowd. The young woman definitely went on to perform another trick. Immediately went on to perform another trick, and then another. Ta-da! The coin on her hand became 3 coins as she spoke her magic words. She's not very good at this, Mino thought. Though whether she was good or bad at it wasn't really the issue. He had a tight schedule to keep. This was no time to stand around watching silly sleight-of-hand antics. Scanning the room, he spotted a man who looked like he was probably in charge. Mino headed over to him. Hey, you the one running this thing? Well, yeah. What's the actual status that we're going to start? Soon. Very soon, yep. In how many minutes? You know, soon. I asked for a number. Just, soon. Real soon. This is getting him nowhere. 3 minutes, Mino declared. He held up 3 fingers to emphasize his point. If this thing doesn't start in 3 minutes, if it doesn't start, then what? I'm gonna start a ruckus. He kept his voice firm, his words short and clipped. Hey now, no need for that, sir. Just settle down. Who doesn't like a silly little magic show now and then? You've got 2 minutes. Hey, a minute couldn't have passed already. 1 minute. Whoa! Just what kind of watch you got there? Just tell me why the demo isn't starting. Ah, well, you know. No real reason, really. The man was getting seriously flustered. I just, you know, I wanted folks to get a little magic show first. Nope, try again. 30 seconds left. Okay, alright. What happened is the required merchandise, What happened to the merchandise, Mino demanded. Gave the guy a dagger stare. Oh, well, you know, it's just, time's up! What? The man's face went pale. Well, luckily I have plenty of, Yeah, hello? I have plenty of jump cuts from Mino and from TAMA's story, so... jump cut, jump cut, jump cut. Jump cut, jump cut, jump cut. Oh, wrong jump cut, my bad. Ah! Oops! Sorry to keep you waiting! A girlish voice exclaimed. A moment later, a furry figure came charging into the demo room. The crowd fell silent at the sight of a young woman in a cat costume. The cat girl panted visibly. Her arms were loaded with cardboard boxes. You're late! The event organizer snapped. What the heck have you been doing? Grabbing the newcomer by one paw, he vanished with her into the back room. The chubby cheek girl wrapped up her magic routine and hurried after them. The audience stared at the now empty stage in confusion. Several minutes passed before the organizer reappeared. Ladies, terribly sorry to keep you waiting, he called out. But now, I'm proud to introduce you to the worldwide sensation that is Burning Hammer. At his signal, the young woman and the cat appeared on stage. Allow us to explain just how revolutionary this new dye drink works with magic, the young woman. And then she just says, what she said in TAMA's story. An angry clamor filled the room. What the heck are you trying to pull? The outrage had been triggered by something the young woman on stage had said. She immediately let it slip that, you know, Burning Hammer was the sort of thing you could buy at a 100-yen shop. The would-be customers were furious when they were about to be paid for suckers. Most of them had immediately tried to storm out of the room. No, the organizer, the full-figured woman and the girl in the cat suit were at the door, trying their best to hold back the tide. Things had gotten pretty interesting, really. Miko pulled out a digital camera and started firing off snapshots to the angry crowd. Unfortunately, their frenzy was so intense that he was soon caught in the flow and pushed out of the room. Fine, I guess I just need to do some interviews instead of getting pictures. Excuse me, would you mind if I ask you something? Shut your mouth! Would you mind telling me a little about... Don't talk to me! Could I get a word on... Unbelievable! Just unbelievable! The woman so enraged that Mino couldn't get any of them to help give her the time of day. Before long, the entire crowd had surged out of the room and departed. Oh well, guess I've got to do enough to do a write-up at least. Thought it would be nice to get a quote for somebody. He decided to try for an interview with the man who organized this fiasco. How did the guy feel, for instance, about his product scam falling through? Alright, so now we got the jump for TAMA, so we're gonna jump back to TAMA. Wait. Oh, but I still get hit with the keep out, don't I? Yeah, I still have to keep out, so we'll just finish me now. Cat gave him a tiny nod and walked off without a word. He couldn't see the face of the girl inside the costume, but she seemed genuinely dejected that the burning hammer had been a bust. Hi, I'm Minoru Minokawa, freelance reporter. I was wondering if you could have 5 minutes of your time. The organizer sat alone in the midst of the ruined displays. Oh, it's you. Oh, it's you. The man's voice had lost all of its earlier punch. Here, my credentials. Mino handed him a business card. The man introduced himself as Yasushida, and Mino got right down to business. So your sales demo is over, Mr. Yasushida. How do you feel right now? How do I feel? Well, tomorrow's another day, I guess. Mino was impressed by the guy's candor. I'm a little surprised to hear that, he says. I figured you'd be more disappointed. Oh, I'm plenty disappointed. I took a big gamble here to repay my debts, and I lost. Yasushida didn't seem to be trying to hide anything. Debts? Mino asked. There was a girl I was in love with, Yasushida says. I wound up spending everything on her. He said wistfully into the distance. Ah, interesting, Mino said. You wouldn't be the first man to go such lengths for a woman. Yeah, Yasushida said. I suppose not. A rueful smile crossed his lips. The guy didn't strike Mino as some dyed-in-the-wool scam artist. But I decided it was time to stop feeling sorry for myself, Yasushida went on. There are plenty of people in the world who have it way worse off, you know. You got that right, Mino nodded in agreement. So I just figure, well, as long as I'm still alive, maybe another opportunity will come my way. More earnest smile broke through Yasushida's forlorn expression. Mino wished Toyama could have been here to hear this fellow. I have a friend who's an incredible amount of debt myself, Mino said. He owns a publishing company, but there was a big mix-up with the scratch cards and his magazine and... Scratch cards? It's not important, Mino said hurriedly. Letting more people know about the whole scratch card fiasco certainly wouldn't do Toyama any favors. Anyway, that is a terrible thing, Mino nodded sagely. Oh, by the way, this is unrelated, but... Are you familiar with a group called SOS? Apparently there's some legendary street gang here in Shibuya. SOS? Yasushida shook his head. No, never heard of them. Guess I'm not going to get any leads on that case here. Mino wondered if there was anything else worth asking this guy. Maybe Yasushida would be willing to take his Shibuya Now survey. Taking a little bit of the burden off Chiaki, which seems like a good idea. I have another question. How do you feel about your life right now? Huh? How do you feel about your life? Your products aren't selling, you can't repay your debts, and yet you still refuse to give up, believing opportunity will come your way. How do you feel about all that? Yasushida paused and thought. I'd say I'm a pretty lucky guy. Mino was taken somewhat aback by that response. I haven't been able to sell any burning hammer, and I sure can't pay off my debts. But even so... Yasushida looked Mino right in the eye. The two cute young girls I've got working for me stuck with me through thick and thin. Sometimes, maybe you just need to be content with someone like that, you know? That was refreshingly forthright, Mino was surprised. I mean, so what if I got debts? Yagnashita went on. In the long run, none of that matters. Not really. Uh-oh. There was a knock at the door. Oh, excuse me a moment, Yagnashita said. I wonder who that could be. He opened the door and his face froze. Damn! Wasn't quite quick enough! Mr. Minokawa? Yes? You'll have to pardon me. I've had a little something crop up here, so if you don't mind. Oh, sure, not a problem. I've got other interviews I need to get to anyway, so I'll just... But Yagnashita was out the door before Minokawa could even finish. Stepping out into the hallway, Mino could faintly hear voices from the adjoining demo room. Sounded like Mr. Yagnashita and two other men. Mino couldn't make out any words, but he could tell they were arguing about something. Probably some customer complaint about one of the products or an issue with a client company. Something along those lines. Man, those people who run companies sure have it rough. You hang in there, Mr. Yagnashita. Oh, perfect timing! Oh, perfect timing! Minokawa stopped short as a familiar face called out to him. It was the man he'd spoken earlier to that afternoon about the surveillance cameras. Hey, come here for a second! The man waved him over. What is it? I'm real busy here. I've got a scoop for you. Saw it with my own eyes. Minokawa raised his eyebrow. Give me the details. Okay, so a little while ago, I saw some foreign guy in handcuffs arguing with someone who looked like a detective. A foreigner in handcuffs? Had there been some kind of international sting or something? Whatever the case, it wasn't such a rare thing to see. Where was this? Just over there, behind the police station. Mino furrowed his brow. I suspect arguing with the cops outside a police station wasn't all that weird. So he had a feeling he was missing something here. Well, the big thing is what happened afterward, the man said. Afterward? The man leaned in. The detective undid the guy's handcuffs and he let him run off. Whoa, what? I'm telling you, man. It had to have been like a bribe or something. A bribe? That seemed unlikely. I swear that's what it had to be. There was some real greasing going on. You're not making this all up, are you? Mino asked. He regarded the man coldly, but the guy still seemed legitimately worked up. It's all true! Please, you have to report this to the police right away. Why do I have to? Mino said. If you have a tip for the police, go give it yourself. He didn't quite manage to stop himself from saying that out loud. No, I can't. I'm no good when it comes to police. Besides, they're never going to believe someone like me. Okay, so maybe he had a point there. But you're some world-class reporter, right? The cops would totally take your word over that or some random nobody. Mino didn't have time to debate the point. It was just easier to make the call. He phoned up the police to leave a tip. The man bowed repeatedly, looking pretty grateful. Oh, thank you so much. I haven't been able to get any business done with those scary thugs around. Thugs? What line of business are you on anyway? What? The man suddenly went pale. Whoops! I gotta go get going. He skittered off in alarm. Mino was left to wonder what this guy's line of work actually was. But he had more important things to worry about at the moment. He hurried off in the other direction. Yeah, damn, where am I? Oh, I'm pretty close to being done. Before long, he arrived back at the Cafe La Trek. The clock on the wall showed it was close to 2 o'clock. He had to somehow fill 6 more pages before the loan company came to have him publishing to collect. He booted up his laptop. What's with this coffee shop? Said a lone stern voice. You've got no good magazines here. Mino looked up. The owner man was complaining to one of the waitresses. It was the same guy who'd been yelling at his daughter earlier. Evidently he'd been here at the cafe this whole time. Haven't you got any magazines for me to read? The man's face was a mask of irritation. Mino glanced at the magazines in the rack. They were mostly geared toward a younger reader. The waitress shifted to the stacks and pulled something from the back. "Perhaps this would be your liking, sir," she said. She held out an issue of 4-star general gossip. "Don't be ridiculous," the man spat dismissively. "This is vulgar, low-grade filth. I wouldn't even use the paper it's printed on for compost." That was a harsh way to put it, but Mino couldn't fault him for speaking the truth. The man continued grumbling as he went back to his seat. Mino headed over to the magazine rack himself and picked up the gossip. He opened the front cover and found the scratched card still inserted within. If these things were still out there, it was bad news. TAMA might end up even further in debt. Bah! Mino yanked the scratched card out and tore it to bits. "Sir, what are you doing?" The waitress rushed to stop him, only for the pieces to rain down on her like confetti. "The magazine itself is still perfectly readable," Mino said. "There's no problem here." He showed back the receipt and case at his laptop screen. It still hadn't finished booting up. In the meantime, he needed to give Chiaki a call. She picked up right away. "Hello?" Mino asked. "Hi there! Good to hear from you," Chiaki replied. "How's progress?" "I did it!" Chiaki said, her voice overcome with emotion. "I managed to get people to hear me out." "Of course you did. You got your pointers from me." "Yes, I couldn't have done it without you, Mr. Mino." Her mood did a complete 180. Mino allowed himself a little sigh of relief. "Okay then, head back to the editing department and put together an article for me." "You got it, sir," Chiaki chirped in reply. "I'll email you as soon as I'm done with things on my end," Mino told her. "Just use the DTP to slot your piece in the right spot in the layout. Desktop publishing." "Sure thing." Mino hung up and rolled up his sleeves. He sure was towing a pretty narrow line today. The Burning Hammer event had kept him a little longer than anticipated. Now he needed to clean up his copy as soon as possible in order to stick to his schedule. When he turned back toward his laptop, however, he froze with shock. What? His laptop monitor was still a black, empty screen. There's no way it would take this long to finish booting up. Oh, it couldn't be. No, don't let it be true. How did his computer decided to pick now, of all times, to give up the ghost? Mino felt the blood drain from his face. To be continued. Alright. That is going to end today's episode. We will next be trying to... obviously, we have to pick Osawa or Kano, and we're obviously going to pick Kano next episode. Alright guys.